Right, New Horizons welcomes back Mark Foster. Mark has spoken here on numerous occasions, and the enthusiasm Mark brings to a presentation is very hard to miss. A former fireman turned personal empowerment coach and law of attraction convert, he challenges self-imposed and imposed limitations. He runs a comprehensive website, markwfoster.com, covering these very same subjects. Tonight's talk, Outside the Box, Is That Your Destiny?, encourages us to look or feel outside our sometimes overstimulated five senses. He, along with others, has noticed mechanisms at work not for our benefit. How will it pan out? Let's explore our options that maybe we didn't know existed. Please welcome Mark Foster.
Thanks. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. Wow, how good is it to be back to in St. Anne's. Every time I come in here I see James and I see the setup and it's brilliant. I've said hello to a few of you. Apologies to one I've not said hello to yet, I'll go through it tonight. It's just great to be with such a like-minded bunch of people. And I was just saying to James before, how much is the world waking up? Have you noticed? Yeah. How much? Yeah, how much is it waking up? I get around the country doing talks like this to different kinds of groups. And I tell you what, I'm as giddy as a kid, but I'm excited because it's the biggest vibrational shakedown it's coming. It's coming. All this, maybe 2012, maybe not. Even Bill and myself wondering. You can't, in the next year or so, it could be that obvious. It could be standing out there like racing dogs do now. And it will be absolutely obvious to every man on the dog, regardless of where they're at, that something is going on. And you guys, ladies, are obviously at the front of this because you're here tonight and you've got your minds open to the possibilities. So I'm going to share with you some stuff. It can be many things I'm going to share with you tonight. It'll be a message, yes, I'm talking to you. It might be a gift, and it might be a challenge. Depends how you take it. But what I'll do is say what I said at the beginning of every single talk. Don't believe a word I say. Don't believe a word that comes out of your mouth. Or you see on the screen. Only if it fits in here. If it fits inside there, when I say it, you feel something that says, yeah, maybe. Or yeah, that feels okay. Then maybe entertain it. Give it a bit of space in your mind. Give it a bit of space in your heart. But that's the acid test that I apply to everything now. And there has been some changes come about lately that have really taken me off my feet in a way. But I'll tell you what, when you stand back up again, oh, the view's so much different. The view is so much different. And if you're going through a tough time at the minute, or you're thinking lots of things are really getting wobbly, stick with it, because you'll bounce back up, and when you bounce back up, the view has changed. You've gone to a higher level of existing. And I don't want to get all like, I'm Wig from Wigan, so I'm not getting all leaky spooky on you, love and light stuff. It's going to be straightforward stuff. Yes, I'll dip into energy and spirit. Yes, I'll dip into quantum physics if it's necessary. But more often than not, I'll try and tell you it as it is, because that's the way I like it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Good. Right, let's get cracking and have a look at what we've got. Because of the material that's out now, I know you've got some great speakers coming in constantly. And a lot of stuff's coming to the surface on the planet now, especially in this country, in America. How we've been putting one of them boxes there. How humanity's been putting one of them boxes. And it's time we got out. And last time I came here, I did a talk, if I remember right, I called Beyond the Illusion, which was kind of highlighting some of the stuff that's going on, giving my take on it and giving us a view on it that's slightly different than maybe some of the other stuff that's out there. And this talk takes it a stage further. And before I crack into it, has anybody heard of a group called Truth Juice in North Wales? Anybody going down there this weekend? Are you down there this weekend? Good, good. Because I'm going to throw some stuff out here, but I'm going to build on it. There's enough time here, but great, see you down there. Empowerment, let's have a look. You ever felt like that? Ever felt like a mushroom? Not going to swear, but you can see where I'm coming from. Kept in the dark and fed on. You're filling in. Thank you for your help. So we're going to move it from mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed on, you know what? To our friend here, one of my kids' favourite characters, Yoda. If you don't see no Star Wars, that's Yoda. Highly evolved being, very powerful, very peaceful, very loving creature. And works with what they call the Force. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of films out there with a lot of information in that's not that far away from what might be true for us. And I'm not saying you're going to develop pointy ears and stuff like that and start sending bolts of lightning around. But we are capable of far more than we've yet even begun to realise. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight. Because that's the way out of the box. That's the way to get the playing field level, because that's what we want. The playing field's been tilted completely against us for ever since the fall in Atlantis, so hundreds of thousands of years. And now it's time to get the playing field level. And the way we get the playing field level is what I'm going to talk about tonight. So, the box. What does the box look like? What am I talking about when I talk about the box? The box for most people is their experience of life, how you perceive life, how it feels for you, what it's like in your life. The good, the bad, the indifferent. Let's have a look at how the box might be constructed. Below the line is everything that your five senses can pick up. And above the line is everything your five senses can't pick up. Now, obviously this isn't to scale, because that top bit will be out of the room. So you've got to use your imagination a little bit. If you imagine a pizza, take one piece of the pizza out, and that's what your five senses can pick up. And all the other pieces of pizza that are left is what else is out there that we could pick up with the five senses. That's kind of a rough scale of it. And all of a sudden we've got a box. And that's the box that's been designed for us. It's designed purposely to keep us in it, because the five senses are the greatest form of human limitation ever. When you think about that carefully, the five senses, because they only know that little bit of the pizza, they're the greatest form of human limitation. Especially when that little bit of the pizza is not even right, it's manipulated, it's deliberately contrived. Perceptual engineering, we call it. Perceptual engineering. In other words, what you perceive is engineered deliberately. And this sounds really out there, and I'll tell you it's not. What you perceive is not what you should be perceiving. What you perceive is what someone else wants you to perceive, or a group of people want you to perceive. That's what you really like. When we come out the five sensory box, that's what you really like. You're Yoda, you're Superman, Superwoman, you've got all these qualities that we're going to start stepping into over the next few years. And people now, I work with a lot of different people, and like I said at the beginning, it's becoming more and more and more obvious. More people are coming to you saying, this is happening, that's happening, the other's happening. And it's because they're breaking through this barrier. They're just breaking slowly out this box. And when they do that, everything looks different, feels different, tastes different, sounds different, because we're coming out of them shackles. So, you'll probably recognise this next slide if you were here last time. I used it last time, and it's moved on a pace since there. Obviously there's more manipulation, there's more stuff coming out, in a desperate attempt of in my opinion, desperate attempts of a failed and ailing system that knows that it can't hang on to things much longer. It can't hold the tide of inevitability. This came to me one day when I was kind of pondering, as I tend to do, sat in my garden, and I realised that this reality that we live in is very, very, very much like a child's kaleidoscope. And just bear with me with this and I'll talk it through. One end of the child's kaleidoscope, and you look in it, you've got all these complex patterns, all infinitely connected and twisted, and you move it around and they change, and all geometric patterns intertwined, beautiful colours, beautiful shapes, very, very complex, very, very fascinating, and constantly changing. That's one end of it. And I liken that to the end that we experience with the five senses. Very complex, very complicated. You can find patterns everywhere. Study sacred geometry. Study any form of energy work. Study any form of anything, and you'll find that ultimately everything's connected. But it takes forever and a day. And then some to figure out all the complex patterns. Some of you that have gone into a lot of this, as I have over the years, end up finding out that everything's connected to everything in some way. And it really doesn't help you a great deal. You just spend a big part of your life figuring this out. Now, What I realised is you go to the other end of the kaleidoscope, what have you got? A couple of pieces of glass and a couple of mirrors. That's all there is. And it's the same with our reality. We've got some basic structures, some basic vibrational energies coming in, some basic light patterns, for want of a better word, coming in. And then they're subdividing, the bounced around, and you get the complicated stuff at the other end. And people spend their lives, and I spent a big chunk of mine looking at the patterns, trying to figure it out. And that's part of the trap. You will. You'll spend till you curl your toes up trying to figure out how sacred geometry affects energy, affects sound, I mean, there's some very clever people, a lot cleverer than me, done a lot of this. And they still haven't got the complete answer of the universe. So I'm getting closer. But that's part of the trap. Trying to figure it out. We're told to look outside for it. Go to the other end of the kaleidoscope and it'll become apparent. It ain't complicated. Never meant to be complicated. The complicated comes with the keeping you trapped. Because keep your mind busy. You notice everything these days is about keeping your mind busy. Look at this, think about that. We're generally either projecting into the future, usually fear, doubt and worry, my favourite FDW stuff, or remember the past, remember the bad times in the war, remember the good times. We're very, very rarely encouraged to be in the now. If you notice that, watch your TV sets, if you do have them. I tend not to put mine on very often, but if you do, you'll very rarely be asked to stay in the now. You'll be projected forward in your mind, or you'll be taken back in your mind. If you don't want you in the now. Because in the now is the place where you're going to start twigging all this. But that's perhaps one of the first little nuggets for you. Resist the temptation to be dragged into the future, especially if it's a future filled with fear, doubt and worry, which is what's being peddled big time. Resist the temptation of going back into the past, especially if it's going to be riddled with fear, doubt and worry. Try and stay focused in this moment, in the now. Because in the now, you've got everything you need. So just remember the kaleidoscope. And honestly, this freaked me up no end. Because I was a seeker. I was looking for stuff, answers, connections, the bigger picture, the whole complicated stuff. Trying to figure it all out. I've got an office full of books and stuff about lots of different things that were interesting and fascinating. Mind candy. Rosalind Chapel, all the Templar stuff, you name it, I've been there and been into it. And yes, it's fascinating stuff, but it won't get you energetically to where you want to be. It won't free you up, it'll just keep your mind running around in circles. Because we can't figure out the complicated end of the kaleidoscope, but we can figure out the simple end. Very simple. There's two energies coming and then they're subdivided. We'll talk about that in a bit. We've got to unlearn what we've been taught. Because every bit of it, even history, has been changed to suit the system that tells us what to do. So this reliance, five sensory perception, guide everything that comes into your eyes, including me. That's why I said, guide everything that comes into your ears, including me. If I smell good, well, especially everything I'm saying, and anybody says, because they're all senses for picking up vibrations. Vibrations can be manipulated, energy can be transformed, transmuted, changed. Anything you feel, anything you touch. So the five senses, guard it like your life depended upon it, because it does, in a very, very real way. So let's have a look at two of these big shackles. We just touched on the constant mental stimulation. You notice there's distortion, distraction, and entertainment constantly. Have you noticed the massive, massive business in entertainment systems? PS2s, 3s, Nintendos, this, that, the flipping other, all to keep your mind busy and occupied. Because when it's busy and occupied, moving things around on the screen and playing games and all that, guess what it's not doing? It's not going to look at the other end of the kaleidoscope. It's busy figuring out all the patterns and how we can chase this, that and the other and catch it if we're looking. Or shoot it more likely, or kill it. Oh dear. You see where I'm going with this? And again, like I just touched on a little bit before, it's projecting somewhere else other than where we've got our power. Which is right here, right now. And people are waking up to that around the country. I'm going to repeat this to you time and time. You're not on your own here in this. It's a big game, and it's a big shakedown. Everybody's really, really waking up. There's beautiful souls like yourself, length and breadth of the country. And you're the ones that have actually said, there's got to be something more than all this garbage we call life. There's got to be something more than all this terror, all this fear, all this manipulation. Well, there is. And it's been there all the time. We've just never been in a vibration. We've never been allowed to get in that vibrational box long enough to see it. Apart from the odd time. Apart from the odd time that we'll touch on. I had something similar to this last time, but it was so relevant. It's a slightly different version, but it's so relevant. Recognise that symbol, anybody? Thought you might. Like I said, I want to level the playing field because there's not many knuckles know about this stuff. And the more awareness, I'm going to do two things tonight. The talk's called empowerment. Empowerment comes after awakening. So the more information I can share that you may or may not know, if you know it, great, it's just another little wake-up call. If you don't know it, it's awakening. And then the empowerment comes on top of that, the next steps, if you like, afterwards. Did you know the word knowledge, if you break it down, comes down to knowledge, which just sits below the capstone on the pyramid. That's the ledge of knowledge, the knowledge. Because beyond that, we're into knowing that is not five sensory perception. You just know. You just know it's true. You just feel it and you just know it's truth. You don't know how you know, that's the crazy thing, and that's why the logical mind won't have it. You don't know how you know. How many people have had a feeling and they just knew something? Yeah? Glad I'm not on my own. I'm beginning to think I was getting a bit wobbly. No, you just do, you just know. You don't know how you know, but you know. Because it defies the five senses and it defies the left brain logic. But that's when you're tapping into that. And that's what they want to keep us away from. They want to keep that for themselves. That's why it's emphasised in all the Illuminati stuff. That's why it's emphasised in all this propaganda stuff that's out there. All this secret you're not supposed to know, but we're going to put it there anyway. Because we know. We're going to rub it in your face. Well, we know now. There's a ledge beyond which they don't want us to go, and that's a knowing ledge, which is in the now, right? So there's two things, stay in the now and get into your knowing. Because below that, what does all the anybody in school, anybody a teacher, or anybody in education at all? I'm not going to knock education because it's a useful as far as it's not being manipulated, it's useful. I'll say that much about it. But the three things you tend to focus on in education, and I've written training documents in my past existence, are knowledge, skills, understanding. Knowledge, skills, understanding. They're happy for you to go up to the knowledge and have some knowledge, but not beyond it. They're happy for you to have understanding, which means standing under the knowledge. Make sense? When you really know what they're saying with these words, it puts a totally different spin on everything. Standing under the knowledge. Because all this is five sensory perception, so you can have as much information as you want. You can have as many games as you want, you can have as many books as you want, you can have as many films as you want, you can have as much stimulation as you want. Because it all sits under here and keeps you away from going beyond the knowledge. Because when you dare to go beyond the knowledge, the box starts falling apart and you start becoming free. That's one of the big keys to this. Just thought I'd share that with you. And that's the realm of direct knowing. And because the left brain is so cleverly cultivated, with education and social conditioning and all the rest of it, most people, even if they get a feeling that they know something and they don't know how, dismiss it because the brain says, how can you possibly know? How can you? Prove it. Prove it. What I'll say is trust yourselves. You're far more than you think you are. The minute you start trusting yourselves with what comes with that direct knowing, your life starts taking an amazing turn. And coincidences start popping up. Because all this is doing is decoding manipulated vibratory sensory information. And boy is it manipulated. Things are not at all what they seem.